how's your sleep? Are you tracking it properly or?
I was researching it, I think yesterday. I forget the name, but it's this chemical that starts forming in your brain. I forget the name exactly, and it is what incurs your feeling of being tired. So what you do is you just wash it out basically with like a 18 to 20 minute Japanese nap is what they call it. And it kind of gives you that refreshment. If you try to go into like REM sleep or you go deep, you're fucked. You wake up 3 hours later, you're like, shit.
Sweating.
But you know the difference when you're like, okay, I'm going to power rest versus like when you actually KO. If you KO, you mess it up.
Last time we were on the yacht,
I'll find the name of it.
When you guys, I think it was you and Tom were just talking about biohacking, and me and Kai were just thinking, yeah, well, we're not really into this stuff. We don't care about it. But over the last couple of months, I had like this lump appear on my neck. So I went to the doctors and I went through lots of different things, had biopsies, cameras down my throat. And luckily it wasn't cancer, but it really made me think like I need to make sure that I'm in peak condition just in case anything like that happens.
Yes.
And I can fight it. Is there anything that you would suggest to me to change in like my lifestyle or in general for the people watching?
I mean, just make sure your diet's in check. Diet is one of the most important things. When you do a small fast, you'll realize you start pacing in the kitchen or you start thinking about food, right? And you begin to realize that a lot of the tendencies that we incur when it comes to eating is just like no thinking. It's just, I feel hungry, I'm going to eat. I feel hungry, I'm going to eat. Back in the day, you had to go hunt. You had to go get your food. So it's also about how you position yourself. I was saying yesterday to a buddy, make it so hard to lose that it becomes easy to win. So it's like, what's in your pantry?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if your pantry's with only clean food, whole foods, then you're not going to have this fight. And a lot of these things come down to personal fight. So if you clean your diet, you clean your water, and you clean your sleep, add a little bit of mobility, a little bit of exercise, you're doing better than 95% of people. When you add a layer on top of that is your skeletal muscle, right? So after the age of like 35, your body starts to break down. You're going to start feeling it, G. Like it's just natural. So if you have a strong skeletal muscle and you have good flexibility, great joints, you're going to be able to live and feel really, really good into the long age. It's all about longevity. You don't want to be feeling like an aesthetic king and not feel good inside. So I think it's also about taking care of the inside, making sure the colon is clean. And the final part is where happiness comes from at a chemical level, which would be your serotonin. And serotonin is produced mostly in the gut. It's not produced in the brain. So naturally, by having a healthy gut, you have what? Healthy mood. And you have a happy mood. You have a higher elevated tendency. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. Just food, sleep, water, the essentials, mobility,
Glass
and you're
bottles.
good. Yeah, glass bottle of water.
Does it get to a point where it goes too far though? Because like
No,
Tom, for
bro.
example, he's
Doesn't
on
go
one end
too
of the
far,
extreme.
bro. What's the end, bro?
Explain that though.
He's just crazy with it. Like he will only eat the right stuff. I can't be asked to obviously go through and list
Is
them,
that
but it's just
crazy though?
All
You
the
know?
right, no,
Bro,
but it's,
is it okay if I don't poison myself
Yeah,
every
like,
now and then? No,
How
bro.
is that some extraordinary? Like,
I think it
no
is.
way. He
I think it
only
is.
eats
okay, but,
whole foods.
But
like,
extraordinary things achieve extraordinary results. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. That guy will not flake a day. And look what he's 38 competing with 17-year-olds.
yeah, I get that. I guess
I
it's
think
just,
our argument's more like I try and eat nice 80% of the time, eat clean, and then 20% I might have a burger or I might have something that's not so good. Whereas Tom, 100% of the time, more or less, eats.
But
and he won't compromise.
And I wish I could do that.
Here's my
but-
argument, and you'll probably agree with this: is if it's black and white, there's an obvious I can have that, I can't have that, I can do that, I can't. If you allow a little bit of room for this grey area, where's the line? Because you say 20%, you can't track what 20% means. So then on a random Thursday, if you fancy McDonald's, what's to stop you that day just going, okay, I can have it. But there's no way to track if you've had your 20%. So you're more likely to creep in and have more and more. Whereas if it's just this food doesn't exist for me. It's so easy.
It's even categorizing it as food in the first place.
Yeah, it's not
like
even food.
that's the fallacy because it's not food, right? And the reason you're craving it is because it's an addiction. It's not because you want it because it's healthy. So it's just the relationship that you have with food and towards it, and realizing whether what you're doing is positive to your body or negative, and just be okay with the consequences that come with it. If you want to eat a burger, so be it, dude. But just know that the consequences are attached to what? Consistent bad habits. It's not about having a burger. It's not the issue. It's about life patterns, right? It's about accumulative of building blocks. A bad decision, cancer doesn't show up overnight. Alzheimer's doesn't show up overnight. It's a slippery slope. These things take time. So it's a process, but it's also about positive reinforcement. You got to be inducing positive things. And this idea of like, well, I'm going to cheat a couple times. It's like a fucked up mindset. It's like a wrong mindset.
You had a very positive impact on Mr. Mark Tilbury when we were on the yacht, I must say. He's come back and he's just cut so much shit. Me and him, we'd be filming. I'd usually say, do you want a Dr. Pepper? Do you want this? Do you want this bag of sweets? Yeah. He'd have it all. He's literally not having...
paracetamol as
Yeah,
well. I
he
used
was
to
bad
have
for that.
like 8 a day.
He's cut it all.
So many.
What
and
a
it was
legend.
really messing with his brain and making him more angry. But now he's so calm. He's not having the Coke, not having the Dr. Pepper.
Good.
It's brilliant.
He's cut it all out.
He still
But-
needs to do something with the testosterone. I think you were talking about that.
Yeah,
I keep telling him about
there's natural testosterone boosters, and then he just has to exercise. When you get to an older age, you have to be able to move. It's so important. I see older guys on Instagram all the time, 60, 70-year-old dudes doing sprints, pull-ups. These are the things that inspire me. At the end of the day, when you're 75, 80, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you have that, you're in the top 1% of society. You're at the best of the highest echelons. Getting to those things, it's a good achievement. And it doesn't take long to reverse bad decisions. That's what a lot of people don't realize. When you go to the gym, you need to understand like everything in life and initially feels like bad reinforcement. You start going to the gym, you feel weak in order to become strong. You go to the library, you read, you don't understand, you feel stupid in order to become smart. The process of discomfort is inevitable. You have to go through it. Most people have that initial feeling, that initial lack of self-belief, because they don't understand that they have to be humbled first in every aspect in order to grow. So you go to the gym, you feel like shit, that's a good thing. It just shows you that you need to improve. Most people go to the gym, feel like shit, never go back. Put on an oversized t-shirt. Problem covered. No, it's not the problem. It's not covered. You need to go through that parallel problem solving. You solve it, and then you get the reward. Every aspect of life has it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I used to swim competitively, I was looking for every little thing that I could do to get an advantage over the competition. And then I applied that to when I started the businesses and everything. I think it really does. It makes you like want to go into discomfort, like you're saying, and actually, beat everyone else and think with a competitive mindset when it comes to, business, etc. What do you think about supplements and vitamins? Because at the moment I'm having like 8, 9 different pills every morning, and it feels like there's always another one that you can have, and I don't know what the limit's going to be because my pill box literally can't take any more at this stage.
Yeah, it comes down to getting your essential nutrients, essential minerals. Most of it, unfortunately, has been stripped away from the food that we eat, so you have to supplement, right? And that's just the nature of where we are in society today. There are certain countries where you can go and you wouldn't need it. If you live in the United States, the food supply, for example, is so fucked up that you need to supplement with certain things. But I don't subscribe to, 100 pills in your closet because everybody's trying to pitch you something. So the question is, why is it that you're taking what you're taking? So for example, I'll take like today, before coming into the podcast, I took lion's mane mushrooms, right? So lion's mane mushrooms helps with clarity of the mind. So I just took that. Now I feel great. Instead of resorting to caffeine like everybody does or some other thing, I'm like, okay, let me go for a natural remedy. And what I've come to find out is that anything that pharmacies want to sell you, nature has a natural form of remedy to cover you. So just finding those alternatives and tapping into those things because it's medicine. So it's when you need them. Mm-hmm. So for example, I'm 29. I'm starting to get white hair. So it's not that I'm getting old, it's that there's a deficiency. Right? A deficiency in a couple of things, calcium, iron, a couple of things that I've identified. So what do I need to do? Supplement for that in order to reverse it. It's not that I'm getting old, there's a reverse factor. So it all comes down to what you need for the time that you need it. Different people should be supplementing differently in accordance to their needs.
How do you seek the truth for that though? Because like when it's not something that a regulated body is trying to sell you, like for example, the mushrooms, me personally, and I think other people watching would think mushrooms, not going to touch that. That doesn't sound right. I can't see exactly what it is. So where do you sort of find the truth about that?
I mean, a lot of it has to do with self-experience, right? It's the same thing with you sleeping. You started wearing the sleep tracker device, and it's like, okay, the reason you continue to inhibit that sleep pattern and continue that sleep pattern is because you realize that it's good for your body. You can track it. You can see it. So it all comes down to results. So how do you feel post-experience? How do you feel long-term? A lot of food, a lot of diet, a lot of nutrition can be boiled down to fundamentals, but there's also specificities that are bound to each individual. So for example, like I don't do well with caffeine, right? So everybody tells me, oh, well, whenever you're tired, have caffeine. But that's not the solution for me because I know how my body works. And I've done it. So I take caffeine, I get jittery. I don't get mental.
Literally what Tom was saying
I
before the
think
podcast.
we are the
as well.
same being biologically. 'Cause I'm the same. Yeah.
So you have that tendency, right? So
Yeah.
whenever somebody's like, "Oh, well, you should supplement caffeine because caffeine is a super nootropic." Well, when I take it, it fucks me up. I don't feel good. I don't feel myself. So what do? I'll just take a nap, or I'll drink some. I don't know. I'll drink some water and just calm down and chill out. Maybe work out, whatever it is. Find another remedy. So every person has a different way of supplementing. What I would say is be introspective and feel how it is that you feel. And then you should be doing some basic testing, blood work, panel. You should do some gene testing to figure out what mutations are in your body. Gary Brecka talks about this a lot, right? There should be certain things that based off of your genetic sequence, you shouldn't be eating. For all you know, you're eating gluten and you shouldn't be eating gluten. That's fucking up everything for you. And if you just cut that out, your life would improve. So every person has a different perspective.